Hey guys and welcome. Today I want to talk to you about the slicers, which are a great option in Excel to visualize your data very easily, have just some very interactive buttons. The main goal of slicers is to filter very easily. So we're gonna go straight in Excel and start doing the job. Here, as you can see, I have a list of employees, which are 500 employees throughout the world in different services, with a different seniority, the hire date, etc. I also have the country. So this data is pretty messy. I don't know how to find stuff in it. So the thing is you could sort them the proper way, but we're going to see a way easier way to make it, a way more visual way to make it. The first thing you want to know is make sure your data doesn't have like, um, how can I say, bad data into it. For example, if I have operations and in some other cases, in some other cells, sorry, operations is written with a space after, it can be a mess in your analysis because Excel is going to detect it as two different services. So to make this, just to control your data, just put the function unique and choose, for example, the service column, and Excel is going to give you operations, R&D, sales, customer support, etc. You can see if I have a problem in the countries like Spain and I put a space in Spain and I make equal unique there, my country, you'll see I'm going to have two Spains, one here and one here because I added a space in there. So this is not good for my analysis. So this function allows you just to make sure it's all good. Now let's get into the slicers. So the first thing you need to do is to insert a table. This is always something I do because it's way more easy to manage data after. And then once you've done it, you arrive in the table menu that you have there. And here you have an option which is called Insert Slices. And you can choose maybe the seniority, the service, and the country. And for example, you can put them right here and have something very visual. So you can see where this is going. I'm just going to make some design over here, so we can change here the slices, like the countries can be like this, and the seniority is going to be maybe in this color, and the service might be maybe in blue. And so I can choose to look for people who have 7 to 15 years in operations and maybe in Germany. And once you've done it, you see very clearly that you have the list of people who have this kind of seniority in Germany. You can also look for customer support in Spain, and oh, I have less people. So maybe you might be thinking that I don't know about the other countries actually. You have less in Italy, you have way more in Germany. So maybe you can have some plans to hire more in Italy and Spain if it's worth it, depending on also lots of different factors. But it's a very easy way to see how many people you have depending on some factors. The next thing is I've been doing a video about two videos actually, one about pivot table, one about pivot charts, and you can also use slices with pivot charts. So let's go into it and you're going to see how it can get very, very visual. So I'm going to go into insert, ask for pivot charts, and the first pivot chart I'm going to do is going to be with the country. And here, if you saw my other videos, I'm calculating the amounts. So it's basically the sales. Here, I'm just going to need the number of people in there. So I'm going to take name and put it in value. Because name is not a number, it's just going to count how many names you have. So it's just counting here how many people are hired in every country. I'm going to sort this from largest to smallest. I'm being quick on this part because it's not the main point of the video. So you can see here, I'm going to just name my chart employees per country. So how much you have, and maybe put some design, or would it break my, I'm not going to design because it's going to break kind of everything. So I'm just going to change the color, and here I have something that I can read. So now that I have it, I can put this in bold eventually, and that's pretty good. I'm gonna insert some slicers for this chart. So when I click on it, I can go into design and not design, sorry, pivot chart analysis, and I'm gonna choose to insert slicers. Same as before, I can choose seniority, service, I can even choose country. Why not? We can put everything. We'll see why country might be less efficient, but it's not really a big problem. And then we have this, we can set some designs. Here we go. An option I didn't show you is actually this one. Like if you want to have two columns, you can have two columns um, in your slicer, sorry. So like this, and here you'll see when I click on uh, any button right here, like 3 to 7 years, I have this amount of people who have 3 to 7 years of seniority in my company. If I click 1 to 3 years, I have this amount, more than 50 years, this amount, etc. And I can also put several filters on this, like I can put more than 15 years in HR. I only have 2 people in my companies that are in Spain and in the United States. Or if I have maybe in sales, 3 to 7, you get it. You can basically analyze everything with those slicers very easily. And the good thing is, compared to filters, is that it's visual. You see your chart and you see right next to the chart what kind of data it's being filtered by. If I just one little thing, I just put the country one, which is not super logical because if I click on Spain, it's just going to put me Spain and that's it, or United Kingdom. But you'll see after why I did put still the country there, the slicer country. Another thing you can do, as you could see before, there is a higher date in my chart. And if you go back in pivot chart analysis, you can add the timeline, which is right here, and he's gonna detect higher dates. It has to be as a date, so it works. It can be like just a year. It has to be a proper date in Excel, and he's gonna propose you here with month. You can choose to put days, and same as before, you have some design possible to make, and you can maybe choose. Oh no, not days, sorry, years. It was it's not so practical, and you can choose to to study the thing only for people who arrived maybe after 2020 or for people who arrived after 2023. Last thing is we're going to see how we can connect two charts to one slicer. So to do it, I'm going to come back and start over a brand new, not a slicer, sorry, a brand new pivot chart. And I'm not gonna make it uh, in another sheet. I'm gonna make it exactly next to this one so we can see what happens. Here we go. So to build the pivot chart, blah, 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 I'm gonna select I made the country, I'm gonna make by service for this time, and the name. Not gonna go into too much design this time because it might be pretty long, but here you have the name, and I'm just gonna put my timeline here and the name here. And I'm gonna also just sort it largest to smallest. What I'm gonna do now is I wanna connect those slicers to this one. So if I go into seniority, you can see I have a slicer menu there where I can use report connection. This is a not this one, this is a very useful tool because you can choose what are you connecting to these slicers. And here you can see that my pivot table connected is the one I made before. And this one is also in sheet 2, but is not connected. So I'm just connecting it, doing the same for the service, doing the same for the country, and doing the same also for the higher date. Timeline, here you go. So now, if I want to have a study about operations for people who are there 7 to 15 years in Italy, I have exactly my results, and you can have a study about also people who arrived from 2021 to 2024 who have been there for more than 15 years. Oh, I have a problem, of course, because it's not possible. But for in HR, maybe, and here you have directly all that you need. So slicers are crazy powerful tool to use to see your data very easily, and that's it, basically, that you need to know, and just practice, and you'll see how practical it can get. Thank you so much for watching. You can propose me some ideas. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to have many more Excel tips, basically. And I wish you a very good day, and I see you in the next video.